Fine.
How would you know?
Because I'm experiencing it. The guy owes me 15 years and doesn't want to pay.
Fine.
Yeah, but you still have the mitzvah.
Yeah, we know that.
So what's the din with? So what's the story with sweeping floors on Shabbos? So the shaila comes in: is there any isurim of that you're being memali the gummies? There might be holes and cracks in the floors, and you're filling in the dirt. So we're going to get into: is it a psik reishon? Is it something that's for sure going to happen or not?
Talking about modern floors.
So we're going to get to that. So the Gemara is talking about regular floors,
About
earthen floors. You have dirt floors. So one question is it psik reishon? It's not a psik reishon. The question is something which is davar shein miskavin. It's not a psik reishon. Is a mutter. So we pass like Rabbi Shimon that you're allowed to do davar shein miskavin. If it's not a psik reishon, it's not something for sure that you're for sure going to do it. And so it's machlekes. So therefore, if sweeping the floor, you're not for sure going to be filling in the holes, then that would be okay if you're not intending to fill in the holes. This machlekes whether Rabbi Shimon.
Aren't you for sure filling in holes?
So we're going to get to. There's going to be a machlekes.
Huh? It's not for sure that you're filling in holes.
It's not. It's a machlekes. It depends who. It depends who you ask. Some shit will say yeah.
You think you're sweeping the earthen floor? Okay.
So first, what's the din of davar shein miskavin? There's a machlekes in the Gemara whether Rabbi Shimon says is mutar lechatchila or only b'diavad b'shas adchak. So the Gemara, the first Gemara says reish knishna de batzra. The person in charge of the shul in Batzra, Gara Safsala, La'ila mi Rabbi Yirmiyah Rabbi. He was schlepping a bench in front of Yirmiyah Rabbi. So Omar Lei, Kaman, who you hold like? Who are you going like? Rabbi Shimon? He says you're allowed to schlepp a bench because it's not a psik reishon that you're going to make a hole in the ground. You know what I'll tell you? Immer the Omar Rabbi Shimon. When did Rabbi Shimon say that davar shein miskavin is mutter? Big doilim to what big heavy bench? There's no other way to do it. So you know, fine. It's not a psik reishon. You're not miskavin. You could be makel. You could schlepp it. But biktanim mi Omar. But a small bench, which is not a big deal to pick it up.
Why is a big bench not psik reishon?
It's not that big. It's not that big. It's not that big that it's a psik reishon. It's big enough that you can't carry it.
It's big, but not that big.
Yeah, it's not that big.
Because if
it's so big that we have psik reishon also. Talking a bench that's not that big. It's not for sure going to make a hole. It's not for sure going to dig a trench.
So we are chazanishnikas that we have to walk with a measuring stick. On Shabbos that you're not allowed to measure, and we start measuring what's allowed, what's not. Okay, sure. So according to Rabbi Yirmiyah Rabbah, the whole heter of davar shein miskavin is only when it's impossible. It's only b'diavad shas al chak. You can't do it any other way. The Gemara says a pligo de ulo. The Amar Ula machlekes biktanim. The machlekes is no. They argue. Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon argue by small benches. And Rabbi Yehuda says since you could do it differently, you should pick it up. Don't drag it. And Rabbi Shimon says that no, even lechatchila, small bench, since you're not a psik reishon, you're allowed to drag it. So there's machlekes. What is the machlekes? What is Rabbi Shimon? What's the machlekes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon? So the Gemara brings a raya for ulo that according to Rabbi Shimon, even lechatchila you're allowed to do a davar shein miskavin. The Gemara says masiv rabba meichrik people who are selling clothing meichrin kedarkan, they sell it the normal way. Bavash leiskav chama mipnei chama. Yeah. So over here we're talking about they're selling a baguette of shatnez, lime.
Selling it, or you mean two different gadim, or what? A baguette of shatnez?
A baguette, which is there's shatnez mixed into it.
In the baguette itself?
Yeah. So they'll say they're selling it. They're not selling it to a yid.
Oh, they're selling it to a guy.
Let's say they're selling it to a guy. So they say they will wear it in order that people could see how long it is. It says since they're not intending to have enough from it, so it's okay. So and tznius like the people who want to stay away from all shaylas, they just hang it. They put sticks over their shoulders and they will hang off their shoulders. So the Gemara says, but you see the halacha is even as possible do like the tznuin and hang it off the sticks. It's just like the case of small benches. You can do it in a way of heter. And since you're not miskaven, Rabbi Shimon says it's mutar lechatchila.
Is what?
People who are selling clothes.
Nothing to do with Shabbos.
Nothing to Shabbos.
What's the right to Shabbos?
Because the machlekes davar shein miskavin is also by other isurim. It's not only by Shabbos.
But who says it's Shabbos? Fair Shabbos to Shabbos.
Yeah, I'm saying we learn now from
The idea
Shabbos.
is l'chatchila
It's the
or
same.
not?
It's the same din of davar
Something that
sheni.
you're after, could you do l'chatchila or not?
It's the same heter. Davar sheni miskavin is the same heter sai by Shabbos and sai by other sudan. It applies by
You say the
both.
Chumash Shabbos is the same as the Chumash Rizah. Okay.
Pashas they have the same din. So we bring a raya from here that you see according. So we say tivta the Rabbi Yemi Rabbi tivta. So the din is that davar sheni miskavin is mutal l'chatchila. L'chatchila you're allowed to do it. Fine.
But
So
davar shemiskaven,
davar sheni miskavin.
ein miskaven,
Davar sheni
and it's not psikresh.
It's not psikresha. Yeah. Usually the definition of davar sheni miskavin is only in the case where it's not psikresha. So psikresha, even Rabbi Shimon will be made that it's asur. So that's the din. So now we have to get into sweeping and mopping. Is it a psikresha that you're gonna fill in the holes in the floor? So the Gemara says in the second Maramakim, hamechabed v'hamirabitz. Someone who is they sweep and their merabitz is you sprinkle water on the floor so the dirt shouldn't go up into the air when you walk. Keep down the dust. V'harida chades dvash, and you take out the honey from the honeycombs. So shaygig b'Shabbos, if you did it by mistake on Shabbos, you're chayav chatas. Hazy, if you did it on purpose, b'yemtiv, you're like arba'im. You get malchus. So he's saying, so this is the raisa, sweeping and mopping the floor, and spraying water on the floor is issa deraisa, according to the shita. Divi Rabbi Eliezer, v'chacham yoimrim echad zeh v'echad zeh ini adam shem shvus. He says no, both of them sai mopping and sai sprinkling water on the floor is only also d'Rabbanan.
So you'd get Abbayim by both.
So
Wait, no.
No, sure.
maybe makas mardos. If you did it on purpose, maybe you get makas mardos. But it's only issa d'Rabbanan.
Why is it then different by Yom Tov than
Right. So it's funny how it's jumping.
Why did he start it with Shabbos and
I don't know.
segue with Yom Tov?
Yeah, it's interesting.
No,
Lashon.
Shabbos is a Chavis and Yom Tov is Abbayim. How does that work?
I
Why is it
don't
different dinner?
understand.
Why it's different
He
dinner?
started talking about Shabbos and then he
Yeah,
started with Yom Tov.
I don't know. It's a funny lashon.
I'm not worried about the Fat tonight. I'm wondering why it's different dinner.
One is a shagging and one's a mazid. One's a shagging and one's a mazid.
I'm sorry.
Shabbos b'mezid you chayv koros.
Yeah.
On Shabbos b'mezid you chayv koros. On Yom Tov you're not chayv koros. I don't think so.
It's only allowed. Yeah. So.
That's why chayv arbon. No, that's why you like arbon. That makes sense.
Yeah, but it's funny how the Gemara starts off with Shabbos and
Right,
jumps
that's
to
the
Yom
way-
Tov. Why don't you just talk both of them about Shabbos?
I thought you don't understand the difference between Shabbos and Yom Tov.
No. So, fine. So what's the machlekes? What are they arguing about? So Taisus explains they're arguing about whether it's a psikresha that you're going to fill in the holes in the floor. According to Rabbi Eliezer, it's a psikresha that you're going to fill in the holes with the dirt. And according to Chachamim, it's not a psikresha. You're going to fill in the holes with the dirt. But it's still asur midrabanan because they hold like Rabbi Yehuda that davar sheni miskavin is asur. That's how Taisus explains the argument. So both this machlekes is according to Rabbi Yehuda that davar sheni miskavin is asur. Fine, so the Gemara goes on weiter. The Gemara brings a heter. Amar Amemar Shara Zilcha b'Mechusa. Amemar is matter to sprinkle water, what we call before ributs, that in order that the dust shouldn't come up into the ear, b'Mechusa in the city. Rashi explains because the house had a tile. They had tiles on the floor. They had stone floors. It wasn't dirt floors. So therefore, there wasn't any problem of filling in the holes. So Amar Taimamai, Amar Rabbanon. He explains why. He says Taimamai Amar Rabbanon. Why is he saying not allowed to sprinkle the water? Because it might come to fill in the holes with the dirt and the water. In the town, they had a smooth floor. There was a tile, whatever type of floors they had. There was no issue. So so here we learn out the heter for ributs, for if you're sprinkling water, tiled floors is okay. So Mar brings another din. Tana isha chachama marbetzes beisa b'Shabbos. This is a smart woman. Rashi explains a bas hamar chacham. She knows how to sprinkle water on her house in a mutter dika way. Explains because she washes the dishes on this side of the house. She washes the dishes on that side of the house until the water sprinkles on the floor.
We're talking about a floor, a dirt floor.
Yeah, a dirt floor.
She's cheating. Okay.
So Isha Chachama, she knows, she'll figure out how to do it. Then the Gemara says, this is an important part, but even though the Sfira Lanka Rabbi Shimon, Shari Afilu Chatchila. Now that we pass like Rabbi Shimon, it's mutar lechatchila because it's not a psikresha. we're going like Rabbi Eliezer that earlier we said it's not a psik reishon. And since then, Rabbi Shimon is matir davar sheni miskaven. So therefore, you're allowed to do what's the Gemara talking about? We just left off with rivuts, right? Sprinkling water on the floor. You're allowed to sprinkle water on the floor. This is question. So that's the din from the Gemara. Because you're in miskaven.
You have to make sure. You're not miskaven.
You're not
to make gummas.
You're not miskaven to fill in.
To make masha gummas.
Yeah, you're not miskaven to fill in the holes on the floor.
Yeah, but how should to be Mishal Gumas on the flat floor?
Well, so they're talking about dirt floors. They're talking about dirt floors where they had
It could
holes.
happen. It could be masha and it could not be
The
masha.
Gemara was talking about a tile floor, but now he's talking. But now
It's talking going back to regular floors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Gemara says according to Hashem is going to be mutter. So the big machlekes to the sheinim over here is, does this also apply to sweeping, or is this something specific about ribos, about sprinkling water? Because till now the Gemara was discussing ribos, sprinkling water on the floor. So now we said according to Sana Psik Reishon, and Rabbi Shimon says it's mutter. But what about sweeping?
Sweeping a dirt floor.
Sweeping a dirt floor.
Well, the only reason you're keeping down the dust is to sweep, or no?
No, just in order that when you walk around, you shouldn't have dust in there. Yeah.
So sweeping more masha gummas than rivets.
So this is a big machlekes for the sheinim.
Ribbits has to do because of mashke, watering.
But some not watering plants.
No.
Just the water might end up filling in the holes. It might make the doors. It might make water fill into the holes.
Yeah. Masha gummas.
No.
outside, you're
Sweeping
right.
is mashvegum.
No, also
Ribbits is has to do. You
also,
sure? Yeah.
That's what the Gemara says.
Nothing has to do.
Time of mine.
Inside the house.
The Gemara says, Dilma, my time, my Marabanan, Dilma especially gummies. Hachaliko gummies.
Interesting. I would think because of watering.
There's nothing
What's
growing
indoors?
over there. It's just,
Nothing.
it's just dirt.
Yes, so that's why it's Madrabana.
No, why there's no...
It's like a zero. If you allow water here, you want to water your field.
No, you're getting carried away.
It's a good thing.
Oh, all these gazeros again getting away.
It's a good thing you're not the rabbi.
Right?
If I would be the rabbi, everything would be allowed.
So Taisus brings machlekes, whether sweeping is also mutter, according to Rabbi Shimon. The third Maramakim, Taisus says, the Gemara says, the Rabbi Shimon, Shari afilu chatchila. So he says, Bahag, the Baal Hilchas Gedelis, he says, Shari kibur mihai taima. So according to this reason, sweeping is mutter, afil the hutzin. Hutzin is the type of broom that they use for sweeping the floors. Straw. The Ein says Ri disagrees with it. Why?
Well, Hutzin is a problem by itself. Forget the floor.
This might break.
A break.
But that's Chumra's brought up later in Achrayim. It's not brought in the Gemara. No. The Ein says the Ri disagrees with it. The Beperikol HaKetlim Amar Rabbi Eliezer. He disagrees because later the Gemara says in Kol HaKetlim that after the Gemara is talking about muksa, is a broom muksa. So the Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Eliezer, after mechabdi shal tmara mutter l'taltlin, and mechab broom shal tmara, a tmara tree you're allowed to move it on Shabbos. The tmara is a type of tree. That's the type of broom they use for sweeping the floor. So the Gemara asks, what type of moving? If you're talking about to protect the actual broom and shouldn't get ruined by the sun, the Rabbi Eliezer said even such a broom is not muksa and you're allowed to move it. So it seems from the Gemara that how could you say it's not muksa? Why are you allowed to move it? So mashma the pshita the lake command the shari afilu Rabbi Shimon shouldn't have him lachid
It's
liser.
the gufi, right? Why are you moving it? It's the gufi.
You're not using the broom. It's just in order that it shouldn't get ruined. You're trying to save it.
That's not
Gufay means you're going to use the broom to lift something up or to knock. Yeah.
To save it is not to gufi. Gotcha.
So Taisa, you see from the Gemara that everyone agrees that it's muksa. And if you can tell me you're allowed to sweep it, then have you machil leheter? What's the problem with the Gemara? Elavadi the kibbut aser the kuli alma. According to everyone, why me pnisha mezis after min kaimai. V'leishin hachar Rabbi Shimon ela davke ribots. He says mezis after min kaimai.
What's this?
So either says it's not clear. So in the Rush it's mashma that it's you can understand three ways. Either it's the isser muksa, that you have dirt and you have peels and things which are muksa on the floor. And when you're sweeping, you're going to be over on the isser muksa.
But you're not doing it. It's a gram. You're not doing it with mamish b'yud.
And he says after from kemi. He doesn't say garbage from kemi.
Or it could be isser chayfer. some types or it goes to be Isra Chayfer that when you're sweeping, it's with the strong broom. Yeah, you're gonna end up making a hole and taking out dirt. Or Prima Gadam understands that could also be talking about mashva gumis. Some Rishonim want to say there's three possible issues. You could say that a broom is stronger and it's a secret of mash that you're going to be mashva the gumis. Or it could be a new problem that you're going to make holes. Or it could be a problem of muksa. So these are the three issues that could be happening according to the Rishonim that want to say it's asr. So in Shulchan Aruch, Shulchan Aruch he passed on the sweeping a dirt floor is asr. Or Machmir according to the shittas that either it's a psikresha or you're gonna fill in the holes or that you're gonna make new holes. So we passing that it's smelter to sweep a dirt asr to sweep a dirt floor. So now, our part of the discussion is what about tiled floors? Tiled floors, okay, well, you don't have this issue. So the Rambam says, and the Chayr from the Gemara we saw before that by Mechuzah, we saw that the city where they had a smooth floor, there's no problem. So the Rambam says in the fourth Maramakim, why Shema Yashve Gumis, because you might fill in the holes. Unless they were stones, unless it was tiled with stones. And then he goes, however, you can't wash or put oil on the karka. But when it comes to washing the floors, that were machmer even if it's tiled.
Can you give an explanation?
It's funny, in the Gemara, reboots.
So ribus isn't washing. Ribus is not washing. Ribus is just you're sprinkling like a mist, like a few drips of.
What's wrong with Sochim?
So the Mag Mishnah. So the
cleaning kibbutz. What's the problem?
So it's also the Mag Mishnah explains that it's not such a big tzedach washing the floor. Sweeping is something they have to do every day, so they weren't going to be machmir. So even though on a tile floor, there's no reason to be machmir. Since we're Acer, regular floors, so we're also tiled floors.
It's me'amel. It's dosh.
It's whatever you want it to be.
So Pasha, since we're Acer by dirt floors, the Chama were also kalo all floors.
I guess that was
just sweeping. They were makel. Sweeping. They were makel. Something which was a tzedach that they did every day. They were makel.
Maybe it was half the floors were stone, half were carpet.
It wasn't so common. Yeah, they made an Isra on all floors. Sweeping, which was a big tzedach, so now they were matir. But washing they weren't. So this is so the Rambam has this. So according to the Rambam, the Shulchan Aruch passes like this that you're allowed to sweep tiled floors. However, the Ramah is machmir that even tiled floors is also to sweep. And where's he come from? It's from the Sefer Turma. Sefer Turma on the fifth Maramakim. He says, it's also lechabin. You're not allowed to sweep it. Why? We saw in the Gemara that ributs.
Oh my God!
We saw.
We don't know what the floors look like then. So
Look what he says.
He gives two reasons. The Shaykh Ashvi Gumis Bein Hashuris. Yeah, first of all, if you look at the cobblestones.
those times it could be they didn't make it. What they had things that squared it off.
Yeah, mortar.
Who says they did all that? They had they put the floors down. They don't step on. They stepped on.
Even nowadays, they have like the bathroom tiles, the small ones. They have like the plaster in between there. There are cracks in between there.
Those are the old style.
Big.
That's the old style. Those who have that need to change it. So this is one reason. Then he gives another reason. The chalpach is midrabanan, it's aser. Or maybe it's just a gzeira. A lot of people had houses without floors, so they were aser everything. But that's the second reason. Kidarmin and pek by memad leaking gabi geider kisei v'safsel by schlepping at bench.
Both wouldn't apply now.
So Gazina and Alisa the Shisha also lead to the Omo Sheina Tzefa Shayish. Just like we see in the Gemara and Daf of Test, I made gzeira for this floor or to another floor. So too over here. So the Ramah Paskins that you're not allowed to sweep even on a tiled floor. And there are two reasons that are brought down on the Sefer Tzurma. Either because we're worried that the cracks are going to get filled in with dirt, or we're worried about they might come to do it on a different floor.
So nowadays it shouldn't be that Zayda.
Oh, so the question is, what about now that the whole town?
There is no such a as a dirt
no
floor.
offer, right?
So the shaila is nowadays that every single house has tiled floors. Is it okay? So
Wooden floors.
or wooden
Whatever,
floors, yeah.
but not
Without those big separations.
Without
So,
separation.
so the Prima Godin says that it depends on which reason of the Sefer Truma. If you go with the reason the Sefer Truma that Atu is Xera Atu a dirt floor, so then the whole it doesn't exist now. People barely have it. But if the reason is because you're worried about the cracks in the floor, so now even with the tiles, you also have cracks in the floors.
There's no cracks. What cracks? Show me.
No.
Where are the cracks?
seams.
The seams in between the tiles.
How big is the gumma?
The Gumma? Back then, I don't know. It could be
Yeah,
big.
doesn't
No,
the
mash
gum
gummas.
have?
How
Doesn't
big
the
is the
gum
gum?
have
How
a
big does it need
certain
to be?
Is
shear?
it a millimeter? Is it an inch? What is the gumma? Is it a tefa? I want to know. Maybe there's a gumma. Look, there's a gumma.
Nee, dois nicht verwendet, dois melekt.
Mash the gummas.
Nee, de do melekt men andere so, was melekt,
So,
It's a feeling.
melekt nicht Cent. The feeling ist nicht von Cent, sie geht nicht darauf.
Yeah, there is scent.
It's
It's
not
a
moving.
scent.
Aber sie los saß.
You're not filling it up, right? There's nothing to fill. You're not sweeping earth to fill cracks. But
so the Mishnah Berurah is going to say
what do you
that.
mash the gummas with on those stone floors that they had? The challahs being mashed the gummas.
You had a lot of
Yeah,
dust.
they had like
The dust is being mashed to the gummas.
Yeah.
But you're sweeping all the time.
You ever see in front of
But
the
it
houses?
goes into the cracks.
But also, you wanted some dirt there to fill the crack. Yes, they always had some dirt over
You only
there.
have in the front, outside.
זה לקח
They
אותי
have the
כמה
stones,
שיעור.
heavy stuff.
Right.
Every tree they have dirt. That's what somebody had in the older houses. They would have putting stones everywhere. So just put it where they step.
But once you mash for the gummas, okay, fine.
So
You
the
okay?
fi-
Beloved, you
I'd
okay?
like to know what a gumma is.
Are you alive?
Right.
so six of Prima Godin says the Lefizeh
gemacht mit dem.
b'chol imur yotzef like goes through kamimar the shari zilchon. Ein beiseisef. So if so that if the whole town is covered with stones, it shouldn't be a problem. Al yishtam achar. There's another reason that b'mirusav nami yesh ben haredim ashvu yigumis ein shams. According to that, would be an issue. So the minhag is that we do sweep floors. The Shulchan Mishabru, they all say the minhag is to be mikon. So why? So the emes the taz, the second reason of the cracks between the tiles isn't brought down by the taz when he brings down the reason for the chashash. He only brings the first reason that up to a different floor. So he leaves out that one. So the chayda we're going. So the chayda minhag is miyusad. You could on the first reason the rechishish for up to a different floor, but not so much for we're not worried about between the cracks. And Mr. wants to be discuss more on the minute first week. He says that also our tiles are a lot tighter together. He says that so that tile that the tiles that has a larger crack,
went away.
but the tiles which are a lot tighter together, there is no issue. And a third lamed schus he wants to bring to be made is the Ravid says that the whole chashash of that, even according to the shittas to say you're not allowed to sweep the floor because you're going to fill in the holes. That's only if you didn't sweep the floor before Shabbos, because then there's a lot of dirt on the floor, and you're not going to fill in the holes. But if you swept the floor before Shabbos, then there's not so much dirt on the floor, anyways, and it's not going to fill. It's not enough to fill in the holes. The Ravid says this.
אז נהייתם ניתן, כן, כן, weiter. אז זה מצר,
for that,
Single oder nicht kiemat der. Und dann מצר עוד 13 Kinder in Stub, ist Baruch Hashem, der every 5 minutes.
okay, Ilachinami, so meaning that there's not so much dirt on the floor.
אין לה דובר סוי.
So this is whatever. So the Mishnah was trying to balance chus. So this is the minhag we sweep our floors. So the other question is, so let's say, so there's no problem of filling in the holes. The shaila is you have things which are muksa on the floor. Are you allowed to sweep out things that are muksa? You have peels. You have things which can't be used for anything. No animals can eat it. Let's say yeah, so we're going to bring it. So they bring all these svaras. So what's the head? So in the seventh Maramachim, so the Ravid Taka wanted to say you're not allowed to sweep the floors if you have muksa things. So in the seventh Maran says, "V'Ravid zal kosav shamash het Rav Alfasi zal lechabed habayis sweep the floors for Shabbos." K'Rebbe Shimon, like kol inyanim shavim. He says not all floors are mutter. Ve'ini mutter el bebayis niskabim me'erev Shabbos. Only for a sweep before Shabbos. V'loi nafal bei b'Shabbos like klipi agizim and klipi rimainim. You want any shells from nuts or from pomegranates, which v'loi kol davar she'asal l'tatlei, not anything which is mutter also to move it. Ella shehu reitzel chadli mishum pirudin. Just you anuv it because of the crumbs. Oy mishum sar shel pleilin, or because of the fuzz or the stuff which on top of the pleilin, the beans or that you were eating. Bishal adashim, oishal atzamis, or other bones. Shem really Michael behema, they're not muksa. So according to the Ravid, things which are muksa.
Those people, man.
According to the Ravid, they had a lot of kids, and according to the Ravid, you're not allowed to sweep up things that are muksa. But then he says, "V'isi b'shem Rashba." He says, "Dafilu heicha sheish bei dvarim hasurim betilton shari l'chaved mi v'havi ager shari." Just like by ger shari, you're allowed to move it because it's disgusting. So therefore, they weren't matzah to sit with a disgusting thing. So over here, it's going to be mutter.
So the Ram brings the Ravid and the Rashba.
And the Rashba.
What does the Ram hold on?
Saying he brings the Rashba and then
He brings them both down, doesn't
the Ran Hilchos Yom Tov brings another reason the heter, because the Pri Megadim says this heter only works if you want to sweep a room where you're going to walking around in on Shabbos. What if you're not walking in that room? You don't need that room, so that's a problem. So the Ran had is another reason. Chisema harihu mikal makim mesi zafar min kaimei, which is muksa. Ikal meimar letiltul min hatzad al yidei davar acher mishum kavi yom tov tiru. Since it's only tiltul min hatzad, you're using it through a broom. You're not doing it with your hands. Mainly, you're allowed to sweep mishum kavi yom tov. You're matter to do tiltul min hatzad. Also, yeah.
So if the floor's dirty and people come into my house which will cover Shabbat,
yeah, so it's something which is mitzvah. Get a shari, cover.
Don't forget that you have to use a soft broom.
Huh?
You have to use a soft broom. That's another thing.
Okay.
You can't use a straw broom on Shabbos.
Yeah, the Rama says you shouldn't.
We can use both.
The Bristols. The Rama says that with them.
Straw brooms, yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Do they actually break?
But I don't think they break.
It's because it's artificial, a lot of them now. Some of them I think it's artificial.
And what's the problem with breaking?
That you're mechanical, you're breaking a kli.
What's wrong with Mekalkel? It's not Mekalkel on Nas. There's no benefit of Mekalkel.
So all the Mefarshas, so a lot of the place came tying on it in. They say it's Kalachayad, you're not Neskavin, it's Leinichale, it's
right.
Definitely because
so a lot of places want to argue and say it's mutter, but at the end of the day, the Rama says it's usher, and Al-Teva brings it down. But yeah, a lot of people have tainus. So that's when you get to sweeping the floor. When you get to mopping the floor, so really with our sponges, it's not really negi anyways, because anyways it's schita. But I was thinking in Eretz Yisrael they have a different way of mopping over there. No, they have the sponge. So they have a drain. They have a drain in the middle of the floor, and they just pour water on the floor, and they just push it.
Or they push it into the head of the people who walk on the street.
So over here, I could have used the sponge thing in Eretz Yisrael. So there's negeya. So we saw before that Rambam says that even though it's a tile floor, so there's no problem mashve gumis. But the Rambam says that when it comes to mopping, we're machmir even on tile floors. The Rambam says because it's not such a big tzedach. So then in Eretz Yisrael, even though they have a sponge thing and there's no isser schita, but taka there still be a problem of mopping. But the Ramos.
Yeah, the basis is
they didn't really do a sponge. They just plugged it up and filled up.
That's what sponge is all about.
That doesn't say that they say sponge it.
But the Ramos says that you're allowed to do it through a guy. You're allowed to sweep, even in the case of dirt floor where there's a problem. You're allowed to do it through a guy. Why? Because what's the problem? It's a psik reisha. So psik reisha we're making to do through a guy. Not because shvus, because what you didn't tell the guy to do something usher, and the guy doesn't have to want to do that for usher. I like it's a psik reisha. The guy is. So the Alter Rebbe explains by psik davar.
And I used to do the rice, and not I used to do the
no, but a psik reisha. even for Siddharman, you're allowed to tell a guy to do.
So how does the older goites come and help do whatever they want in the house?
So sometimes the heter is mutar you're shaking.
No, things that you're not allowed to do, she's not allowed to do either.
Sometimes the heter is mutar you're shaking al yimazidin. Sometimes the heter is a seirach mitzvah. Sometimes the heter is
There's also mitzvah.
sometimes it's
Right, like they can't vacuum, right?
No, definitely not. That you have to tell them to stop.
yeah.
Yeah, but what can they do?
Why-
Can they do
what's
dishes with hot water?
I'm saying it's so. What's so? I'm saying it's a seirach mitzvah. I'm saying it's not.
No, when? So what? Psik reisha?
Oh, so psik ratio. Al
you're not
Rebbe explains
allowed
why
to
is it
do dishes
mutar.
with hot water.
Al Rebbe explains why is it psik. Why is it?
The vacuum cleaner is psik reisha. Why can't she do it?
So why? So
Because it's
why are we
We just
makel?
said psik reisha you could do.
Why are we makel by meaning in miskafen? Davashin miskafen when it's a psik ratio by a guy. So the Rebbe explains because what's the problem? Shlichus. You told the guy is your shliach. You told her to do some davar aser. So in this case, you didn't tell her to do a davar aser. You told her to sweep the floor. The guy is doing something which is aser for you, but the guy doesn't have kavanah to do a davar aser. So say you didn't tell the guy to do davar aser, and the guy doesn't have kavanah to do a davar aser for you.
So why can't you tell them clean the floor and they'll use the vacuum cleaner, however they want to do it?
So that's different because that's a different heter. That's first of all they're the heter. That's not davar sheni miskafen. The heter over here is davar sheni miskafen. The guy doesn't have kavanah to do a davar aser. When the guy is vacuuming, the guy does have a kavanah. The guy has kavanah to vacuum. If the guy is having kavanah, is beferish doing something which is also for you. Whereas just sweeping the floor, the guy doesn't have a mind to fill in the holes. Right, that's why you're allowed to ask a guy to open up the fridge when the light is on. If you forgot the light, you can't ask the guy to open up the fridge because the guy doesn't have kavanah to turn on the light. You didn't ask the guy to do davar, so you just asked her to open the
The
fridge.
guy's kavanah to turn on the vacuum cleaner, the guy's kavanah to get the floor clean.
There definitely is kavanah to turn on the vacuum, right? The safe, the tachlis is to clean the floor, but the guy definitely have kavanah to turn on the vacuum.
What's over here? Yesh
V'yesh machmirin even on tile floors, like the Sefer Truma, right? We saw two reasons: either for the cracks in the floors, or because you might get mixed up with a different floor, with the dirt floor. Those two reasons.
That's only if you have to type of floors today. In his time, most times they had
Yes,
both
that's what they
floors.
say. So they say nowadays. That's why we're making nowadays. So that I'm also v'yesh machmirin. So wait, at 9. We say v'cheina again ve'in l'shan is miu aydei gay mutter. We say through a guy is going to be mutter. So Takas in Eretz Yisrael where there's no isra schita. So to tell a guy to do the sponge, l'cheira.
Not a problem.
L'cheira there's no schita. The guy doesn't have either, and the whole isser of it is just atu. The whole isser is sweeping. It's because atu a floor with cracks. But the floor with cracks you're allowed to tell the guy to do. So that floor would also be okay to tell a guy to do. So l'cheira there's no isser having a guy do a sponge. So there's a heter, so the erech lechem. So, but our floors have a goy map, and halacha is aser. The erech lechem he brings a minhag in Mitzrayim that they are making to have a goy map with a sponge and everything.
The only problem is
he tries to be melamed.
The only problem is to do the going Eretz Yisrael is that when the water is going to come out into the streets, and people will say, "Oh, in your house they do washing the floor on Shabbos." They're not going to realize that it's a goy.
זה איסור יותר גדול לפני כן, שבדרך כלל זה הולך לתוך הגינה, ואז זה משקה את עצמו.
Yeah, but it's also davar sheni miskaven. But it's also davar sheni miskaven. It's right. The guy doesn't have kavanah. The guy doesn't have kavanah to do that. So look at the erech lechem brings the mitzvayim neigen heter aydig. He says if mitzvayim neigen heter aydig goyim to have them mop the floors. V'choshekinim eisami atzmai afa pishabali de schita. Even though doing isra schita, kol she'init shal nene beschita. As long as the yid is not having a atzma, shekvar here efsher sheyavshami atzma. They could have done it that way. I'm not sure how they mop the floors. It could have dried up on its own. Somehow they could have mopped the floors without squeezing. So you don't even lamas since they could have washed the floors without doing schita. So even they do it through schita, that they're doing for themselves.
What's the pasuk that they usually say?
No.
The Rebbe brings it a few times. Pasuk that. When people do, so the Rebbe no, it's a pasuk. The Rebbe will
And so, but nowadays with our mopping the floors, this heter doesn't work because the only way you can mop the floor is through schita. This is talking
Tell
away.
them to pour water and then scrub it if they want to scrub it.
How are they? What are they going to scrub it with? What are they going to scrub it with?
Schmata.
Schita.
So
Schmata
wait
is
10 years
schita.
no problem. Since they could have not done it with schita.
I'm not sure how. I'm not sure how they wash the floors. Apparently, they had some way of washing their floors without doing schita.
Right,
I'm not sure how they did it.
You just squeegee it into a
Oh,
drain.
right. So in Eretz Yisrael, they had a sponge, and the guy decided. Right. So
If you
if
have a drain, you'd be able to tell the chicks to clean the floor.
in Eretz Yisrael, you had
You could do it without schita.
So if you had a sponge system and you told them to use the sponge, she decided she wanted to use the mop. Okay, so that she decides she likes the mop better. She's doing it for herself. She's not doing it for you. But if the only way to mop the floor is with a sponge, with a squeezy mop, then you don't have the setting. Yeah. So we weren't mechadish too many dinim, but we.
No, it's good.
We went.
It's good.